All right. Happy Thursday. It is April the 17th, 2025. I am John. I am a Gen X grown up. Thank you for joining me. And aside from the day that it is also the day of the release of the reimagined iRobot across multiple platforms, just out today by Llamasoft. So the original iRobot came out in 1983. We did a Friday Plays on it last week, and we talked about that in anticipation of this release coming out. And I'm happy to tell you that I am not here alone. I am not. In fact, I am here with the entirety of the Llamasoft team, which consists of two talented gentlemen who bring you the titles, including this new reimagined iRobot. I'd ask if you could recap. I'd ask you what the attraction was with iRobot. We were talking a bit about just how unique it was in the day and how it was kind of overlooked, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was the first game to be effectively use 3D polygonal graphics, and the gameplay was interesting because it was doing stuff which you could only do in 3D. So from that point of view, it was very intriguing back in the day. And perhaps it was a bit too different for some arcade goers of the time to make a lot of sense out of. Perhaps it was too weird for the audience back then, which maybe is why it wasn't super popular. But I loved it back then, and it's always been a favourite of mine ever since.
Yep. So,
but I would say I think it's the combination, also the fact that he had that end game that was kind of make it interesting to put together with our stuff.
We were talking a bit before we went live about the Ungame and how is that polygonal graphics were so unique at the time, and have an opportunity. The developer wanted people to be able to play with it, so that not only they could have the chance to play with this weird new tech, but let the player do it for their quarter.
Yeah, it was super interesting because you'd never seen anything like that. So being able to view these objects and rotate them in 3D and make them leave trails across the screen and all that stuff. Yep. I mean, for the nerdier people amongst us, that was almost as much fun as playing the game.
Yep. There we go. So I'm seeing all kinds of great comments. I'm seeing Robert. Who did I see in here? I saw that Jeff is the GOAT. The Chad said. Walter's asking, is this on Steam? It absolutely is. It is on Steam. And in fact, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, if you want to play this game on Steam and are interested in getting a free key, Atari has hooked us up with a few free keys. So all you have to do is look at the upper right, hashtag #LlamaRobot. Throw that in the chat at some point. In the next couple of days, we'll pull some random winners and let you know in our post section over on the GenXGrownUp YouTube channel. You see MSS saying, I pre-ordered it on Switch for a small discount. I played this morning when I woke up. It's going to be fun. Higher levels will be hard. Yeah, I'm finding the progression of this, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit, but we were talking a bit before the show about how arcade games try to kill you in 3 minutes, but you tune things a bit differently when you do a port for the home console, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, when you're playing at home, you don't want to have your head kicked in every 3 minutes. You want something that's a bit more relaxed that you can settle into and have a nice long session with. But I really learned that when I did Llamatron and I did Tempest 2000, which both were adaptations of fairly brutal arcade games. But you have to soften them, and that doesn't mean making them uninteresting. It just means fettle them so that you can settle down and have a good long session, because you want to be sat there for a good 20-30 minutes in a nice trance playing, don't you? You want to feel good for that length of time. It can be a bit brutal just doing a direct conversion of an arcade game into a home game, because it's stressful getting your head kicked in every 3 minutes. I like it to be a bit more fun.
Yep. Nope, they got me. So on these levels, they have little mini achievements for the goals. They're at the bottom, like time, do not die, title max, things like that. Where'd you get the idea to put those sorts of like mini tasks in here? Something that wasn't a part really of the arcade game.
Yeah, I just wanted to really to emphasise the fact that there are different ways of playing each level. And really what you're trying to do to get the best score is optimise how you play each level. And these are kind of clues which, if you follow them, will tend to lead you towards the best way to complete that level. Basically, doing a level quickly is always going to be good. And not dying is always going to be good, because basically when you die, the bonus per tile is reset, which you don't want. You don't want to hang around on a level too long, because the bonus per tile ticks down as you hang around. So you really want to do things quickly. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of achievements in games, and perhaps I shot myself in the foot by putting all these little things in. But once I put them on a couple of levels, I thought, each level might as well have them. And I think, they're just there to guide people in the right direction, really, and can be satisfied to achieve these little sub goals as well as you go through.
I think what's interesting about iRobot is that it's a game that is a bit of a mixture between a puzzle game and an arcade shooting game, because there are sections where you really need to be good even in shooting and have control.
Right.
But most of the game is a puzzle game, because you have to figure out the winning strategy to complete the level in the best way.
Yeah, there's a bit of everything really. It's a puzzle game, it's a maze game, it's a dexterity game, it's a shooting game. It's got all these things rolled into one. It's quite a nice design. I like that about it.
And then you do all those things, and you've got to watch out for this damn eye that you get focused on the puzzle, and that you've added the busy signal, the phone tone, to let them know the bump 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 bump, to know that it's about to come, which the original didn't have, which is much appreciated. But I find myself getting so focused on the puzzle, I forget about it and jump at the wrong time.
Yeah, well, that's just part of iRobot. That's exactly what happened in the original game. I do give you more audio clues. There's a lot more audio going on in this, and I tie everything to the rhythm. Once you've heard the eye go off a couple of times, you know the cadence of it, and you can be aware of the rhythm and not have to watch it all the time. But yeah, those little phone beeps before it goes off, that's the final warning, if you like.
Yep.
I think it became a classic in your game, Jeff, that you always have these audio cues that supplement the visual cues.
Yeah, it's more information about what's going on in the game world, really, because especially with my games often being quite psychedelic and busy, you perhaps might miss other stuff. Like in Atari, when they had those enemies turn around off the end of the screen and come back.
I'm sorry I had to warn you about the thing. There might be just pop up the warning saying that your car ends in 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, mine's got that.
It won't end. Don't worry. Yeah.
No
problem.
Have a limit of 1 hour.
We'll extend it so it continues to go. No worries. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So yes, I think audio cues are important. So I try to put plenty in my games that that relate to things that are actually happening in the game that are significant.
Gotcha. I hope this call doesn't end on us. Yeah, no problem. You know what I'm going to do, gentlemen? In case, I'm just going to give you a secondary link that we'll use. If this call ends itself, we will hop right back in. Meanwhile, someone was asking about the Amadars on the level, whether or not those can kill you. And I think they can, although sometimes you also have to not kill them, right?
Yeah, on that level, one of the objectives is don't actually destroy the enemies. Because once you understand how they move, I don't know if you remember the arcade game Amadar, the motion is entirely predictable. So once you understand how they move, you don't really need to kill them.
Okay.
So if you kill them, it resets the bonus per tile to 0. So your score for the level won't be as good. I mean, you can do it to save your life. It's better to do it to kill them than die. But if you're good, then you shouldn't kill them at all, except perhaps with that bit of bullying that I talked about earlier on.
Right. So that's one of the achievements. In fact, I go in here and I go to the list of the achievements. Some of those aren't so obvious, and you're explaining to me how the bullying can be done. It has to do with invincibility. Is that right?
Basically, if you're invincible, then you can bully enemies, which is basically you can run into them and destroy them. And if you kill enemies while you're invincible, even on levels where you're not supposed to kill enemies, you can get away with it. So you can actually reduce the burden. On some levels, if you kill enemies, it will extend your invincibility time.
Oh,
the
okay.
The levels with the black spheres, if you keep bullying those black spheres, especially if there's a lot of them around and you keep doing it, you can actually extend your invincibility time.
I remember the funny story where they actually, during the testing, they marked that as a bug. They thought it was a bug.
Of course, it was a bug, yes. No, that's supposed to happen, actually. You can use that to your advantage. and then at the end of a level, as the level ends, before you leave the level and go into the tunnel, there's a second or so where you're invincible and the enemies are still on the level. And if you bully one of those during that time, then you get a special achievement for that.
Oh,
Should not ever be that.
there you go. Gentlemen, I just dropped an alternate link in the chat in case Google decides to time us out. We'll have a whole second hour here. I want to take a chance to look at the iRobot Ungame. So we were talking about the original has... you could paint with the flat shaded polygons, but this one, it's kind of a trippy trip is the only way I can describe it, right? So you can use the buttons on your controller, the analog sticks will kind of modulate in different directions, and then you can speed up your trip through the tunnel. You can also change the layouts in the tunnel, and it's woo.
Basically, because the backgrounds are generated with the light synth, what I've done is expose, like, there are 4 different parameters that are exposed on the 2 analog sticks, which you can alter.
Yep.
You can select the background from any level that you've already got to
With the D-pad.
to
Yeah.
see all the things there. On the face buttons on the right hand side, you can speed the tunnel up and slow it down. It also changes the procedural music generation a little bit as you do that.
Yep.
So yeah, it just lets you fiddle with the parameters that generate the backgrounds, basically, for just for a bit of fun.
Which is interesting. That was the supposition is that's the reason they put the Ungame in the arcade title in '83, and you have this other technology that the shaded polygon isn't the thing you're putting on display here. It's that the light tunnel that you can travel through, and you get to experience that instead, right?
Yeah. But it's the same kind of idea. It's like, here's this thing, it's part of the game. Some people might enjoy fiddling around with it, you know, depending on what frame of mind they're in, you know.
Yep. There we go. Okay, I'll tell you what. How about I see George is trying to get a solution for us. Why don't you let's hop to another chat right quick while I do. If you jump in that other room, I'll just invite you right in there. Google just wants to time us out for an hour, and then this way we can continue. And while I'm doing that, I'll just hop over there. Yep.
So you got to email us the link, or
it's in the chat here. I can also email it to you if that's easier. No problem. Here we go. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm not actually watching the other chat.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Here we go.
How do I see the chat? I'm not familiar with
That's
this.
okay. I just emailed it to you. There's a secondary one. If you want to hop to that room, I'll meet you in there in just a minute. And while you're headed over there, I'm going to remind everyone that I have both Ivan Zorzan and Jeff Minter here from Llamasoft, and we are talking about their new iRobot reinterpretation. As we're hopping to a new chat room, I want to share with you that if you're liking what you see here and you have not yet picked it up yet, Atari has provided us.
I haven't got any email yet.
Yep.
I got it.
Yep. On its way. Yep. That you could just put hashtag #LlamaRobot in the upper right there, and tomorrow or the next couple of days, we'll be checking our emails. We'll go through the list of the chat, and we will provide winners, and we'll post the winners right in the posts. I guess the post tab used to be called community tab. It's called the post tab now in YouTube. All right, so I'm going to hop over to that other room. Did you get that one, Ivan?
Yeah, I'm joining in. Should I just join the other?
Yeah, I'm going to leave this one, and I'll meet you over there in just 5 seconds. I'll see you over there. We're just working around the limitations of Google Meet because we were on together for a few minutes ahead of, as you might imagine, ahead of this this call. So, yep, there we go. There we go. All right. I think everybody is back.
Okay, there we are.
Yeah,
We're in.
good. You did it. Let me just reshare this screen with you so you can see the chat. And then we're going to get into some more gameplay now and some more user questions. So share that with you. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Make sure everyone can hear us.
All right,
okay.
that's good, I think.
Yeah. All right. So everybody's back in now. All right.
We can't hear John.
Oh, 1 second. Yeah. Do. Here we go.
Okay. I've got the YouTube thing up as well now, so I can see the chat.
You can hear me. I can hear you.
I
But
can hear you. Yeah.
what about John?
I got you.
I can't hear anybody else yet.
John, we can't hear you.
Yep, we got you. We'll get it fixed.
Only channel subscribers of 5 minutes or longer can send messages. I can't send the message yet.
We're good. There we go. Now you should hear me just fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I've also got the chat up now, so I can see that too.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. All right. So
How are you with the chat?
talking the chat for
The
Yeah.
YouTube link, which is in the previous email. If you follow that, you'll see the chat.
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. If someone would like to just take the George, you want to take the link to this YouTube stream and just paste it right in the chat, and then they can click right in. Oh, they can't see the chat. That won't help them. Yeah, it is in the email there. Yeah, I can also share it with you. All right, gents. Yeah, and there's a chat here if you want to. All right, so I see the generous contributions in here, but I'm not going to delay any longer. We'll take care of those. New memberships coming in, Torque. I saw you. Thank you for that. All right, so let's take a look at the chat here and get back in the game. Yep, I saw you, Torque. Yep, we're just juggling cats here. So Ivan and there we go. Ivan and Jeff, we have a bit of a tradition here. When people put out generosity, we clip these pins on the brim of my hat, and sometimes it gets quite busy.
I can't actually see you at the moment, but
No.
Yep. Oh, right, yeah, certainly. Yep, we shared that.
I can see the YouTube channel, but I can't see the chat.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Thank you, YouTube.
all right, there we are.
There we go. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's see. Shouting George is asking Jeff, are you getting the new Pebble watch? And if so, any new watch faces? Remember your previous work?
I am indeed getting the new Pebble, the one that's coming out in December. And I did a bunch of watch faces for it before. I certainly want to make sure that all those work for it. And yes, I think I would like to do some new ones. I actually really enjoyed doing those watch faces on the Pebble. So yes, I think we'll be seeing more of them.
I see Dark Ride Arts is commenting and said, looks awesome. Likes what he sees. Urban Flux said, grew up with you, dude. Scotland was a better place for you and Atari games.
Well, I'm always glad if people enjoyed the old work back in the day, and I'm glad to see people still sticking around now. I never thought I'd be doing it 40 years later, but here we are.
So, what would you have done if you had not continued to do this? Did you already have another career you were working on, and then this just took off? Or what?
Not really. I had a strange beginning, really, because when I was at school, I was into physics and maths to a degree. But I was also into. I was very much into like creative writing and English and that kind of stuff. And so I had this kind of split between the arts and the sciences, and I never really knew in what direction I was going to go.
Okay.
And so I was all lined up to like study maths and physics at university. Although I can't say my heart was really in it that much. And it was only by complete accident that I discovered computers. I literally walked into the wrong room one day at sixth form college, and somebody was playing with the only Commodore PET they had. And I saw them playing some game on there. Of course, I'd played early video games like Space Invaders and Pong by that stage. And I asked them, how come you're playing this game on that thing? How does that work? And he explained about BASIC, and you could type these things into the machine. And I started teaching myself that. And it just seemed to be the perfect fusion, which brought together these two sides of my interest, really. The scientific aspect of it, but also the creative aspect of it, where you could basically make anything which you could think of. It was a wonderful new thing, and it just completely took me over. At that point, I was lost. That was what I was going to do. There was no question about it. I never realised that I'd be able to make a living making games, but I knew I'd probably be programming something.
Yeah, you'd be doing it whether it made a living or not. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah. The act of coding itself was just lovely to me.
Ivan, how did you come on board with Llamasoft? How did you and Jeff meet?
Oh, that's a very strange story. It was a story that it starts with an evening. I was home alone at home. I was feeling a little bit depressed, and I started to do Google searches about llama. and then I found accidentally his website. And it's a funny thing because I didn't know the name of Jeff. I didn't know he was someone a bit famous, but I really didn't know anything much about it because I wasn't a Commodore 64 guy. I was a Spectrum guy, so I didn't know much about the Commodore 64 scene, anything like. But anyway, for reasons I never know, I decided to send in an email, just like, "Hey, hello, I've seen your website. I like it. Maybe you like mine. If you want to have a look, because I had a website about goats and stuff like that." And he had a website about llamas. And then I completely forgot about it because it turns out that he was on holiday for a couple of weeks. So days passes, I don't see any reply, and I completely forget about it. I say, okay, he's never going to reply me any back. But then after 2 weeks or something, I got an email from him saying, "Sorry for the delay, I was out, blah, 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 I couldn't reply before." And then we started chatting about things, and one thing go to another. Then I got invited to one of those famous retrovisions that they were doing. And then I started to get to know some of the people. And then it was during the time that basically Jeff had this big opportunity with Microsoft. And he was thinking that maybe the job was too big for one single person. He said, "If you want to try to make this type of job with me." Again, there was no really any promise that it would have been a continuation, but there was the opportunity to say, "Well, yeah, okay, I'm taking the opportunity. I've been interested to do something different from what I was doing before." And then the thing went okay. Then we done another thing, and then another thing, and so on. So it's more or less correct, Jeff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it went.
Let's see. Shouting George said, "Lovely news about the Pebble. I've ordered the same. I love the BBC faces on my old Pebble." There you go. Michael is asking, will this be ported to 2600 plus and 7800 plus? I don't think this is going to live on one of those consoles.
No, it's going to the VCS, but I think that's asking a bit much to put it on the 2600 and 7800.
Right. Yeah. You know, unless there was like I think of Mr. Run and Jump with like a watered down kind of version, an interpretation. But then you're getting back to the original arcade game almost if you watered it down any further, because you couldn't do all the specular effects, the lighting effects, probably, right?
Well, there is also that particular type of cartridge that has an IRM CPU in it and a lot of RAM, but you can still work on the VCS hardware, but using an extremely powerful CPU. And I've seen people that have done some really crazy stuff with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would be an interesting job, but it would take probably a lot of time.
I think we want to be moving on and doing something new before we do that, really.
Fair enough. Yeah. The creative instinct is like, I've already done that, right? I don't want to do that again right now. I want to do something new and different. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, we've done like 6. We're going to have 7 versions of this out, basically. So, yeah, I think it's time to do new stuff.
Right. So excellent question there I saw in the chat for the latecomers. Who are our guests? I'm happy to reintroduce our guests because we actually had a little audio issue at the very beginning of the stream. But Ivan Zorzin and Jeff Minter, the two-man team that is Llamasoft, are both present, responsible for the creation of this game and so many others that we have enjoyed in a style that is unmistakable. So you are, if ever you wanted to speak to anyone at Llamasoft is on this stream right now. So including questions about this game and any other, the experts who lived it and created games you probably enjoyed as a child or as an adult too are here. Oh, I got right into. John says, Jay first says, you guys are awesome. Of course, thanks for joining us. It's quite late for them too. It's about 5 hours after us in the Eastern time zone here. John says, I hope there are rams looking for cuddles in this game.
Well, there is the voice of one of our beloved rams who's since passed, unfortunately, but his voice is in the game. So yes, there are rams in spirit, if not in body, in there.
Jay's asking, are there sharks in the game?
There aren't sharks, but there are things that behave somewhat similarly to the sharks in the in the arcade game.
Okay. So we were talking a bit before the stream that there were some items that are distinctly Llamasoft in this game that were mistaken as bugs, and you had to correct them and let them know that they weren't bugs. And my favorite was the sheep test. So we're in the options menu, and it tests the sound effect for the sheep. And Ivan, you got a note back that said, I think, oh, that's a bug.
No, we got a kind of a rejection, like a bus fix for the bug, because they say this option doesn't do anything. And I can even explain why it does exist. Because if you see this menu, it's the same menu that you see in game, only that when you are in game, you have return to my menu and go back to game. But when you are here, you are not in game, so that option should not have been there. But to remove the option, it would have meant to leave a gap or try to scroll all the other options up and down. So
it would have been a pain in the tits, basically.
Yeah. So it's a placeholder for when you're not in game to resume. Yeah. Viewer Obsidian Contraption said,
it was easier to change the text on the function, so we say, okay, let's put something that makes something.
And it's a good test. And that bar is the bar of our sheep, Jerry.
Ah, okay. Welcome, Jerry. Obsidian Contraption said, that's not a bug, that's a feature.
Yeah, totally. I mean, come on.
It is.
A sheep bar function is going to be a Llamasoft function, isn't it?
Yep. Michael's asking how to get a sheep ringtone, and I'm noticing that who's I just reading that Chris said Llamatron best on a PAL Amiga.
I would say it's actually best on an Atari TT.
Ooh.
Atari TT-030. Rude Llamatron, the full version.
Yep. All right, where have I got? So I've not passed this level yet. I should point out that this earlier in the game we got to this, and the fact that you can, if you want to get a high score, you do need to start from the beginning, right, to proceed. But you don't punish people for, like the arcade game, you don't punish people for dying midway through. You can actually pick up the game, but your score resets from 0 if I start from level 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. Basically, if you want to make a high score, then you've got to do a run. But I'm not going to stop you from going back and practicing any of the other levels, or want to make a bit more progress. You knock yourself out. You can do that.
I'm seeing some love for the Atari TT and the TT30 in the chat.
Yeah, well, the TT-030 was the development machine for the Atari Jaguar in the early days. So yeah, that was what Tempest 2000 was written on.
Ah, okay. So this is one of the examples of the levels that we talked about that are puzzles. I was playing this a bit earlier, but didn't talk about it. The goal of this one is to not kill the Amidars, and this screen is very much Amidar. And of course, I've noticed Space Invaders sound effects here and there. And someone was asking. Go ahead.
There's all kind of callbacks to earlier arcade games, of course.
Someone was asking, they love the Amidar reference. Any problem with copyright on Amidar, or this is just seen as a homage, right?
Oh, I shouldn't think they'd have a trouble with it, really. I mean, we're not trying to present the thing as an Amidar game. It's
certainly,
just,
yeah.
It's a level which, it's a reference to the games of its time, really. I think they'd have to be pretty uptight to give us a hard time.
Also, if I'm not wrong, I remember you searched it once, at least according to Wikipedia. It's not Amidar the game, Amidar is the move, and it exists much before the game itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the movement pattern is actually called Amidar, but it's a classic Japanese sort of puzzle structure. Where basically it just means the enemies always turn when they get to a junction. That's all it really means. But no, I hope we won't be given a hard time about it. I think it'd be a bit pissy if they did that, really.
So I was showing this game to a friend of mine the other day, and he didn't know the original iRobot, but he said these outer space sections that represent the space between the puzzle levels are his favorite part of the game. He said, I will play the other parts of the game to get to this part, but my favorite part is this outer space. And you've added quite a bit of complexity to these levels that were just kind of bonus levels. I mean, I guess they are still kind of bonus levels, but you took there's curved space and you're operating on these matrices. What did you have in mind when you were reinventing the outer space mid-scenes?
Well, I just liked the fact that on the original game you had these. The transition phase was quite different. You'd blast off from the level and fly through space, and I always liked it. It was a nice contrast to the sort of maze puzzle section to have this flying blasty bit. And so I thought, yeah, I could have some of that, and I just extended it a bit with different shaped surfaces. There's even kind of echoes Tempest a little bit in the way it looks.
It does. Yeah.
It's kind of seemed appropriate given my history with Tempest. I thought, yeah, it's a nice way to break up the action and get an extra life.
Mm-hmm. By the way, now we are talking about timer, psychedelic effect, nice. Of course, I hope you know, but if you go get a PlayStation 5 version, you can play all these in VR.
Oh, in VR. Oh,
yeah, very much so.
That's brings these games to another level. Yeah,
it's lovely in VR. It's really nice. You're inside that tunnel. It's excellent.
Wow. Have you tried it? I guess you did during testing, right?
Hell yeah. We've played it a hell of a lot in VR.
Oh man.
To put a game in VR, it takes a bit of tweaking. You can't just take the existing game, put a headset on, and have it work perfectly.
Okay.
It takes adjustment, and you've got to make things look right and go in the right place. And it takes a couple of weeks to get it right. So yeah, I played it quite a lot in VR.
Catching up with the chat a bit, Jay is saying those space levels remind him somewhat of Gyrus. I can see that similarity.
Yeah. I can see that as well.
Mm-hmm. What I see, Ted is saying, this is so much fun getting this insight from the developers themselves. Yeah, very grateful to both Ivan and Jeff for taking the time. Point out again that it's 5 hours later in Wales over there. It's about 11 p.m. for them. So I'm lucky I wasn't doing this at 7 or 8 p.m. There's no way they would have made time. It would have been terrible, but thank you for that. David says, love the goals per level on this. Those tile max tasks are a swine to get. There's somebody who's been playing already and knows.
Yeah, it's good. I'll say they're there as kind of clues to let you find the most efficient way to finish the levels, and also it's just satisfying to have some little sub goals within the game to do as you go through. Mm-hmm. It's nice when you bang off a new star, or you get 3 at once or 4 at once. It's always nice.
Mm-hmm. Do not die. Hey, I got another of those little mini goals. What do you call those little stars? Those mini goals? Just.
Level goals.
Just goals, yeah.
Little mini goals, basically.
Yeah, sure. Oh, can you imagine this in VR? Wow.
Yeah, really try it because it's an experience. It's really an experience.
Oh.
Actually, VR is probably my favourite way to play it because you can look around a bit more, because you can kind of move your perspective. I mean, it looks really nice. The levels look like little dioramas in front of you, and you can literally move your head to crane around and see.
Yeah, it looks like almost a really, really nice board game, and you're playing this board game viewing it from above. It's quite good, actually.
And then the sections where you're flying through the tunnels are quite a rush.
Oh.
And also, even the ungame is particularly nice because you're actually inside the tunnel. It's all you can turn around and look behind you. It extends out behind you. It's
really, oh
yeah,
that's
cool. Yeah,
that's great. I don't have any VR gear, but this is kind of making me want just to or borrow some to see it. I can only imagine because it's already so immersive. I mean, the part that is the background that you made into the ungame is just such a. I said it before. It's just trippy. Yep.
Yeah, it's just a nice thing to. I'm sure some people are going to want to put the ungame on and put on their favourite music and chill out and relax and play with that.
Yeah. And
that's fine. I intend for people to have fun one way or another with my games always. So the more ways I can offer them to have a nice bit of fun, a bit of chill out, the better, really.
Oh, beautiful. So viewer David is asking, could we ask the guys, Ivan and Jeff, about the music? Is it AI generated or pre-created? Now, I noticed that it does evolve as you play, but what can you tell him? What can you tell David about the music?
Yeah, basically, it's me experimenting with procedural music generation. I think calling it music is perhaps too complimentary, really. It's kind of a procedural, sort of structured noise thing. But no, I've always had a bit of an interest in doing that kind of thing. I kind of moved a little bit in that direction with Atari. I just wanted to extend it a bit further with this. Mm-hmm. And so it's just what my experimentation turned into. I want to take it even further on the next game. I want to create our own synthesizer. Here we're just playing back samples, but I want to actually create our own synth. and start making procedural music with our own synthesizer, which I think could be interesting. But yeah, it's just something I've always had a bit of an interest in, and it seemed appropriate to the game. And I wanted to have something which, as you said, gives you a progression. It starts out and you've just got the percussion going on, and then as you fill in more of the tiles, the rest of the music comes in. Yeah, it just seemed a nice experimental thing that seemed to fit the game, really.
It does, yeah. Viewer MNX says, "Hi Jeff, Mutant Camel needs a comeback. It never went anywhere, did it?"
No, well, perhaps we would like a modern version.
Yep. I'll tell you, as I'm sitting here, as we're talking, and I'm playing through this level, I'm really, as I listen to you, it's not that listening to you is required, it would have to be in an interview, but I'm finding the Zen moment where the background is hitting me, and I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm figuring out what the puzzle is, and what I have to shoot and destroy with my bullet, and the special tiles that give you special abilities, and it all just kind of comes together. And that's maybe the biggest compliment I can play this game, and I wouldn't just shout with praise because you're here. We would talk about the things that I like and don't, but wow, is it really, does it give me a feeling that I'm in the space, which is something that's not easy to just instantly do.
Yeah, this is something we always try and do is get you into what I call, into the zone where you can settle in and you start to feel the game and you start to feel comfortable in there. I firmly believe that a game should always be comfortable, should feel good to play. So that even if you play and you don't get your high score, just the act of playing it should in and of itself be a reward enough for playing. And also, although I like to make a game that's challenging, I don't want to make a game that ever makes anybody rage. We sometimes watch these things on YouTube where like 8 minutes of gamer rage, where people smashing up their equipment because they're lost in Call of Duty or something. And I don't want any of my games ever to make people feel that kind of emotion. I want them to feel, even if they haven't got their high score, even if they do lose their last life, that they've spent a bit of time that's given them a bit of joy and maybe a bit of peace and maybe a bit of an elevated mood. And putting people into this zone where you're feeling that you're meshing with the game and you kind of flow with it is what engenders those kind of feelings. And so we always try and do that.
I don't know that that's something that's taught in game theory, but it should be. Because
it's just a thing which, to me, the longer I've been making games, the more I've evolved towards wanting to make that kind of thing happen. At first, when I was making games when I was a kid, it was just kind of let's make something that's nails hard, and gameplay wasn't really that well polished back then. But as I've gone on, I hope I've learned to make the gameplay in itself more rewarding. And now I just want to give people a good time. That's what I want to do with everything I make. I just want to make them feel good.
Urban Flux says your games always made me tune in for sure. Yep. So it definitely is that tuning in, that finding that zone. Yep.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Bino Ched said mentor, legend, all uppercase. You know that.
Now, these black spheres on this level, if you die, then you get a few seconds of invincibility. But if you can carry on running over those black spheres while you're invincible, it extends your invincibility. Oh, really? Yes.
Look at that. Tips directly from the llama's mouth. You heard it. Let's see. Vapor Chase said, I seem to recall an unfinished game in the ST I came across called Hardcore. Whatever happened to that? Is he remembering right?
Oh yeah. Hardcore basically was what I was going to do after I did Llamatron. And it started out, it was kind of based off a Commodore 64 game I did called Hellgate, where you had these like 4 guns, but you could control with the mouse in Hardcore. And it was like, again, very intense, loads of stuff going on. Also, it was done shortly after my first exposure to rave culture. So there's a lot of rave tunes and flashing stuff in there going on. And the only reason I did a demo, but I think they're like a 5-level demo or something like that, which was released on the cover of ST format, I believe. And the only reason I stopped developing it was the Jaguar and Tempest 2000. So that kind of took over. But yeah, I remember I was playing it a couple of years ago when we were preparing stuff for the Llamasoft compilation. And I was looking back at it and thinking, yeah, that was actually, it wasn't a bad game. It would have been nice to finish it, but then I became so hooked up with the Dagu and Atari that I never got the chance to come back to it.
I'm taking advantage of your tutelage here, and I'm running over some of these balls. Oh, it ran out. Yeah, we're great. Oh, do you shoot them when it doesn't deflect? They just attracts them. They head your direction. That's nasty.
You can't shoot those particular spheres on that level. You have to avoid them.
Ooh, yeah. Not like that. Jason Mann says, love your VR games on the PSVR. Will we ever see them on another platform? Polybius might be my favorite VR game.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would think there's every chance that you'll see more VR stuff from us on other platforms.
Mhm.
I mean, the thing with Oculus is that it seems to be very hard to get stuff onto the Oculus store. Plus, it's non-trivial to develop stuff.
No. Apart from that, I have to say I have an incredible love-hate relationship with Oculus. Because Oculus, the Quest, is one of the most beautiful pieces of hardware I've ever seen in my life. It does what it does really, really good. But from the other side, writing software for Oculus is a big, massive pain in the ass I've ever seen. 2 words, Android Studio, and who knows.
Okay.
Yeah, I think part of the trouble is that, I mean, a lot of people who do stuff on Quest are using existing engines which have existing versions for that kind of hardware, whereas we're developing our own engine, so it's a lot more work for Giles to get this stuff to work on those platforms.
I want to take advantage to explain, in case it wasn't clear or people don't know, that all the games that you see and all the portings in all the different hardwares, they are based on an engine which is entirely writing in C++, which is completely done by us, in particular, let's say by me. So I have one version of this engine which is cross-platform for every different hardware, and it's all maintained and done in-house. Let's say, you could say it's been quite a number of years we're working on it, but it's all done manually, let's say, bit by bit. We don't use any third-party library. We don't use anything else. Everything you see is being coded at home in this place. So it's quite a lot of work. And as I say, unfortunately, the support for Quest for developers is not that great if you're not using Unity or Unreal. And it's quite a bit difficult to code for it because there isn't very much support, and the development system is a bit pants, so put it this way. But it's a shame because the hardware itself is so nice, it's so beautiful. I mean, the full VR system is the one that you just put it on. The lenses are absolutely amazing. It's fantastic, but it's probably, I would say, the worst supported of all the systems.
Oh no.
I mean, if you're running a proprietary engine, I should say.
If you're running a proprietary engine, yeah.
A couple more items in the chat. I want to catch up that. Where's I saw? Ting Ting Melody said, just want to thank you, Jeff, for all the fun you provided. Space Giraffe, T2K, D2K, all these. Can't wait for the collection.
I'm very glad. I'm just honoured when I hear people are enjoying this stuff.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's nice for us to hear after all the work we put into it. It's rewarding to hear that it's doing what it's meant to do and making people happy.
It does.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, the ultimate goal of a video game is to create joy and have something that is challenging but satisfying at the same time. I mean, you don't want to get frustrated. You just want to be happy playing it.
Yeah, exactly. So what I was talking about just now.
Right. Yep.
Make people feel good.
Scott Cruz said, huge fan of Tempest 2K, 3K, and 4K. Looking forward to getting this on the VCS. Trippy goodness. Yep, that's a great way to describe it.
I want to repeat one more time. Please, people, have a bit of mercy. And I'm working. The VCS is going to come out. It will be good. I'll put all my best. But one of the systems had to be the last one I was working on it.
Yep.
Despite trying to work simultaneously, I mean, supporting 6 systems at the same time is really hard.
Yep. Saw some folks say, I think the chat scrolled by, but say, I would love the Llamasoft be able to take a stab at Major Havoc in the future. Is that something that, do you know Major Havoc? Are you familiar with it? Are you a fan?
I do know Major Havoc. I would not rule it out.
Okay. So you're being a bit coy there, which is okay. But someone else also chimed in. Are you doing any? Can you tell us of any other projects with Atari that you have in the works that you are possibly talking about?
Well, I mean, I can't mention specific titles, but what I can say is that as we've been coming to the end of this project, we started talking about what's going to happen next, and we had a meeting a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Where basically they'd sent me their back catalogue, and I'd gone through it, and I'd marked a couple of things I was particularly interested in. And then we had this meeting, and they'd gone through their back catalogue, and they picked a couple of titles which they thought they might like to see me do. And they were the same two titles.
Were they? Oh.
Now, I'm not going to say what they are. I'm not going to say what they are.
Isn't that serendipitous?
But,
that's great.
But yes, I think we are definitely very much on the same page with what comes next.
So Jeremiah says, cough twice if Major Havoc, 3 times for Star Raiders.
I can't say what they are.
Oh, understandable. Oh, yeah, certainly. I should take a moment here to mention it's been a while. We had such a great time chatting that so much complimentary about this game. Atari has stepped up and they've provided 3 free Steam keys for this new reimagined Llamasoft version of iRobot. And if you'd like a chance to win a key, look at the upper right of your screen, hashtag LlamaRobot. Just type that in the chat. In the next couple of days, I will pick 3 winners at random, and I will post the winners in the posts tab of the YouTube channel, and just to show you how to get your free key. I see a lot of folks saying, can't wait to buy it, picked it up and already played it a few hours. I see the Hood Assassin saying, Jeff Minter, if that's you, I'm sending you my favorite full Powers Psytrance mixes.
Oh, yeah. We love the Psytrance. One thing about this level I didn't tell you. The black orbs can be killed with your bullets, yes? But only after your bullets have hit those deflectors.
If ricocheted. Yeah. Yep. I find I kill them much better if I just die.
But also you've got to be a bit careful because after the bullets have hit the deflectors, they can hit you.
They can kill you.
You can shoot yourself in your own bullets.
Yeah. I found that out the hard way.
The way I would do it, if you're not quite yet ready to do it without killing anything, then if you go to the first, second, third, fourth column and sit there, there's a deflector there which basically scatters bullets all over the whole level. If it's getting too full, go and sit underneath that fourth column and shoot that deflector, and it'll effectively wipe out all the balls and give you a chance to have a bit more of an open run before it repopulates itself.
Gotcha. But of course, the challenge is to do it without killing anything. Yeah. I'm trying to deduce the logic of the balls. I know on the Amadar level they must turn, which we know. And they seem to turn. Oh, they follow the bumpers. If they hit something, they'll turn like a bullet.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
The bumpers themselves are based on a game which I first made back on the Commodore PET, a game called Deflex.
Oh.
So basically, when the ball is deflected from a bumper, it moves in a particular direction according to the position the bumper is in, and then the bumper flips to its alternate state. So if you see when the balls hit the bumpers flip.
Yep.
But you can always tell where the ball is going to go by looking at the direction the ball is going and the position the bumper is in.
Predictability. Yep. I love it. I'm learning more about it, and again, not only am I learning more about the game as I play it, but as I said, I'm really finding that the original iRobot was less puzzle. I guess puzzle came later. It just got harder and more challenging because they were trying to kill you in those 3 minutes. And what you seem to have done here is you have really layered in this thoughtful puzzle element. There are places you can sit and park and think. There's not a time limit. Of course, a time is an achievement you can get or a goal, but you can sit and be thoughtful and think about what am I going to do.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's not just arbitrarily trying to throw you off because it doesn't have to.
Yep.
I mean, completing a level quickly is always going to be good because you get maximum points for doing that. But points chasing can come later on when you've learned when you've learned to understand the level and how most efficiently to finish it.
Mm-hmm. What is your philosophy of? I mean, we talked a little bit about this level design. When you go into level design, I mean, obviously in basic game design, you want to teach someone the mechanics of the game without teaching them the mechanics, right? You don't want to have to say, here's how you do it. You give them a level where they exercise a skill and they learn how to do something in the future. How do you measure when you're designing levels how to how and when to accelerate and introduce new elements, because it almost seems like you're introducing a new element with each new puzzle level, or does it cycle back? I know you have 50 or 60 levels in this game. How do you decide how to ramp that progression to keep the fun there, but still keep the curiosity happening?
Well, I think at first I try to introduce things at a fairly quick pace, so that people can see there's a lot of depth, a lot more depth to discover in the game. But yeah, I mean, I like to let people work things out as they go along. I don't have to throw people off all the time, so I can give people a bit of space to do that. I like levels where you can kind of hack your way through, if you like. But then as you go back, you can discover a bit of grace and elegance and how to do the level more quickly. One thing I've done in this as well is if you start from the beginning, you get a run timer, so you can eventually try and see how quickly you can get to a particular level.
The entire game, like a complete run time.
Yeah, a bit like speedrunners do. The same kind of idea. Eventually, somebody, I suppose, will run through the whole game, and then they'll have a time for their entire run. But yes, I like to have a game where there can be multiple approaches to levels, and as you discover more, then you can discover more elegant ways of doing it. Each level has got a time as well. You might at first start playing a level and do it in 50 seconds, and then find a way of getting it down to 20 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fun in and of itself.
Have you found that as you played through this and tested it yourself, have you found there are like predictable patterns that you can use on certain levels that people can discover?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
basically, each level has a particular way it works, and yeah, you discover it as you go along. I mean, I spent quite a lot of time. I made the levels at first, and then I spent a good couple of months going through and what we call debrutalizing them, taking stuff out that was really just too much of a pain in the ass. I might have put this in to challenge people. Then when I'm actually playing it, I'm like, actually, I'm not enjoying that so much. Really, I'll take that out. I'll ease it down just a little bit, because at the end of the day, I want it always to be fun.
I think also you refined quite a lot the movement of the robot, because I remember initially it was quite a little bit more difficult to move around.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to get that kind of puzzle motion going with analog sticks. It took a bit of tuning to get all that.
Right. Like how long he delays before he'll make a jump, and there's like that.
Exactly. The acceleration. You don't accidentally be making a jump. When you just get to an edge with the eyes open. This kind of stuff.
And I noticed you preserved in the arcade. There's something I call jump forgiveness. Like he starts a jump, and you can kind of decide not to jump.
Yeah.
And
you can drop back.
Yeah. Let's see if I can replicate it here, and let's see if the eye not hit me. There we go. So I'm gonna kind of jump right and go. Let me hear. So right.
No, didn't mean to do that. And you can.
There we go. Yeah, just kind of a little hop and go. Oh no! I decided not to go. Right.
Yeah.
Does the eye not kill you until you actually commit to the jump? Does that little hop count? I feel like that hop actually does count as being off the tile.
It does count.
Yeah.
If the eye is open and you're off the ground,
you're gone no matter what.
Yeah.
But at least you won't get caught midair, right? You have a long jump and you get caught with the eye. You can go, oh, no, let's wait for that long jump. Yeah.
And also bear in mind that in your periods of invincibility, you can also jump. And even if the eye strikes, it will remove your invincibility, but you'll live.
But you'll be okay. Yep.
And there's actually an achievement for that.
Yeah, I saw that in there. Yeah. Let's see. Jeff says my first exposure to iRobot was in the MAME era. Sadly, it's still a great experiment, which apparently made truly legit now. Which is truly legit now. It was largely forgotten. That's why I wanted to feature the original the other day, because I want to make sure people were aware of what this is based on. Because from everything I saw, you like the little things like the hop. You can choose not to jump. It's all those little things that you preserved that I really appreciate. That shows a reverence. Reverence might be too strong a word, but for the source material, a respect for the source material that I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think you have to have respect. You can't just go in and bulldoze the original game and eradicate most of it. I like to leave enough in there that it's recognisably, the source material is recognisable. I mean, yes, I like to stick a huge amount of Llamasoft on top as well, because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. But I want to respect the original design. I don't want to bury it.
Yeah. I think anyone who I remember when the trailer for this came out, and I had people say it's what did they say? Like there was a sentiment that I saw from a minority that were kind of saying, "Oh, it's just that trippy Llamasoft stuff with the arcade game," and it is those things. It is the trippy Llamasoft stuff on top of the arcade game. But I got to tell you, as much as I play the original, and I'm not telling you, you know this already, but for viewers who are watching and thinking about the game, whether it's for them or not, I'm really finding those little zen moments in here of like discovery in something that looks very chaotic. It's startlingly thoughtful.
Yeah, I mean, the psychedelic stuff kind of serves a purpose. It kind of puts you into this frame of mind where it starts to flow together. It's a lot of our games have been like this, where they look chaotic, but when you're actually inside and you're doing it, it all feels really nice. It feels like a cozy cocoon of psychedelia that's surrounding you.
Yep.
And it's kind of our house style. I mean, I understand it's not going to be for everybody. But it's Llamasoft. It's like some people like heavy metal music, some people like disco, some people like techno.
That's a great way to put it.
This is our style,
Yeah, excellent way to put it. Yep. Yeah, I see you, Jeff. Let me thank you. Put a clip on my hat there. Jeff supporting the channel. Thank you for your support. That's awesome. Jeremiah said this new game has probably brought more focus to the original iRobot than anything since the original. I think that's fair. Who was talking about it prior to last month?
Yeah, I think it would be also a good thing if some people would start rediscovering the old game and have a look at it as well. So you can also make at this point comparison, see what they like of the both of them.
Yeah, I think this is something I really enjoy doing, is bringing a bit more light to these old games, which were interesting in their own right, but which were perhaps a bit too obscure to receive the respect they deserve, really. So yeah, if people play this and then go back and look at the original, that's an excellent thing.
Yep. Torque in the comments was trying to decide what platform to get this on, then found Space Giraffe will run on the Xbox Series X as a live arcade game, so Xbox X it is. And he also comments, I still have my 360 just for Space Giraffe.
Excellent. Yeah, Space Giraffe is one of my favourite Llamasoft games ever, I must say. And one day we're going to be doing Space Giraffe 2.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's going to be extremely, extremely psychedelic.
I would expect nothing less. Of course it will be. All right. A couple of things in the options I want to share with everyone. So, because I mentioned that some folks said it's, it's this trippy thing that might be too much for them. I noticed that you put in this option to allow for this Starfield instead, a much more muted experience. If maybe people are sensitive to that kind of, I'm guessing that was your thought.
Yeah.
If people are sensitive to that kind of light flashing, If
people find the psychedelic a bit too much, you can always turn it off and just have a nice gentle Starfield going behind.
And this is a perfectly acceptable way to play the game, but you just don't taste the llama on it with the Starfield, do you? It's it's just not quite there. There, by ox and a billy goat, there you are.
Some people may be, just a bit too sensitive to flashing stuff. Not everybody likes it. Some people find it a bit overwhelming, and so there is an option there. Play it in a bit more of a chill way.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I'm going to take this opportunity one more time to mention, we're probably going to wrap this up in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. I want to mention that Atari has stepped up and provided 3 Steam keys that I can give away to anyone who's here in this live stream. If you would like a chance to win, just put hashtag #LlamaRobot. You can see in the upper right of your screen right now. Just put it in the chat anywhere at some point during the live stream, and we'll randomly pick some winners, and I'll notify the winners in the posts tab of the YouTube channel over the next few days. So if you want to get that on there, Jeremiah is saying, since Llamasoft has a much better relationship with the current Atari, any chance of TXK getting re-released?
Well, effectively, TXK has been re-released. Tempest 4000 was built on the bones of TXK, so I think that's one thing we might see one day. We'd like to see, and we're kind of off and on talking with Atari about it, is maybe doing a VR version of Tempest 4000.
Yeah, I want to say about that. I've been praying and praying and trying to convince Atari to let me do a VR version of
Because we did actually have a VR version of TXK, and it was lovely. It was so lovely. So yeah, we'd like to do that one day.
Okay, great. Yep, I'm seeing. See, Josh said so much fun. Now I got to try this in the Star Raiders mode. Oh, the Starfield. Yeah, try it in the Starfield. Yeah, it's what I'll say is I didn't play it in the Starfield. I turned it on and went, no, it's just it's not enough, right? There's something about the combination of the music just goes so well with that light tunnel and those effects that just make it work so well for me.
Plus, isn't also the effects on the light tunnel also partially reactive to what happens in the game?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of
right. Whereas the Starfield is just there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there. It's just an option for people who want to chill out.
Which is thoughtful, right? It's thoughtful you provided it, but if I would say if the tunnel doesn't bother you, then it absolutely will enhance the game. Ooh, enhance the game. I hit one of the balls. John is asking. So Scott W just joined. What is the object of the game? For anyone who just joined late, the object of the game is to basically flip all the tiles and don't jump when the eye is open. That's the overall goal. This is the reimagined version of iRobot that we're playing. They just released today. And live on voice chat with us are both Ivan and Jeff from Llamasoft, the creators of this game and so many other great Llamasoft titles. So just to catch you up on that. And John Donnelly says, on a Tempest update, can you have the mod tracks properly loop? Otherwise, it's breaking the immersion. So he's doing tech support in the live stream, I guess? I don't know about that, John.
Well, Charles, what would you say to that?
Sorry, what? I didn't quite understand the question.
Yeah, can you have the mod tracks properly loop in Tempest? I'm not familiar with tracks. MOD tracks? I'm not familiar with it. I'm just reading in the chat.
The original music from Tempest 2000.
You have it in Tempest 4000.
Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't loop correctly. Oh, there you go. You're through to the next level. Well done.
I made it. Whoa. Yeah. I don't know. And we're seeing more questions. Okay. If you're just joining, what about a VCS release date? The VCS is absolutely coming. I see the notification there. Just the last one they're doing the port to. It is coming to the VCS.
A little bit of that. It's coming.
It's coming. Don't stress poor Giles out. He's on it.
Yeah. We do not have a date to share with you, but it's absolutely coming. So, yeah.
Yes.
JPF said looks pretty good. Purchased an hour ago. Sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, the VCS is one of those systems that is a little bit hard to work to put together stuff for. It is again the hardware is good, but the development system is a little bit complex, let's say.
Whoa! I hadn't been here before. I just got past that level for the first time, so this is a new tunnel level for me.
Hey.
Oh, I love it. Oh! The Space Invaders sounds are much appreciated.
Go home with someone that has a PlayStation 5 and PSVR and ask him to let him try the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to try it in VR. All right. I know it's getting very late for you. For everyone who's here on the live stream, I want to thank you so much for your time. Ivan, Jeff, you're so gracious to make time for us here on GenXGrownUp to talk about iRobot and, frankly, to share a tutorial in the most inspired ways of game design that have served you so well and served us so well in all these years in the games that you've created. So, again, both of you, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me.
Hello, cheers. Thanks for having us. It's been a lot of fun to sit and chat about the thing. It's always nice to see people enjoying it.
And I want to say it once more. Please give me just a little bit of time. The VCS version is going to come up now.
VCS is coming. VCS is coming.
It's coming.
Before we drop off, one last chance. If you want an opportunity to win a free copy for Steam of this game, put hashtag #LlamaRobot in the chat somewhere. I see lots of thanks, lots of love in there. Stubaka's saying thanks, guys. Bino's, he's not worthy. He's bowing. Thanks to Llamasoft from Jason Mann. Atari Creep saying great job on the game. Urban Flux, love you, Jeff. And by extension, Ivan, love you guys. Thank you so much. everyone here on the stream, thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure for me to get to sit down and learn so much, not just about this iRobot, but also just about Llamasoft and the philosophy of games. So have a great rest of your evening. Thanks again for being here, gents.
All right, cheers. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.
Yes.
Good night.
All right.